Hey, so hi everyone. Today I'm here to talk about the Uprising cards. Am I going to do it in a tier list form? Well, not exactly. I don't actually think that all cards belong in a tier list, but just get to it. So, card buying in Uprising isn't as simple anymore. I think in Dune Imperium, there are cards that are S tier, A tier, and you just kind of look for them and try to buy them, right? And then if it's like C tier, D tier, you can just pass on them and not buy them at all. But card buying in Uprising is a little bit more complex. Most cards are good cards, right? And most cards have a situation where you want to buy them. Some of the cards are S tier, right? So common cards I show here are S tier. In all situations, you buy these cards because these cards are good in all situations, right? And you should always buy them and put them into your deck, regardless of how your deck looks like. And there are some cards which are A tier, right? That are really good, right? But you need to play a certain way, or you need to do a certain set of things, right? They're not as insane as the S tier cards, but generally all the A tier S tier cards, if you see them on the row, you generally buy them, right? But all cards have a home. So what do I mean by this? I mean that all the cards you see in the Imperium deck, right? They are mostly situations where you buy them. Um, Like there are cards that just because they have like a Fremen tag on them, you should buy them. There are cards that have some synergies with contracts, some with spacing, and then there are some times where you should just buy them, or some cards which are just good in niche scenarios, but once you have crafted the scenarios, right, these cards are very strong, right? And then also some cards that are very leader dependent, like Irulan wants to craft a certain type of deck, Jessica wants her type of deck, and Gurney also wants a certain type of deck. So all cards have a home. So in this video, we'll be talking about two homes, and then we'll talk about what scenarios enable these cards, and also we'll talk about moving forward um, what should we look at? So first of which, let's talk about enablers. So enablers are cards that create situations that allow you to, or not just cards. Enablers are situations that allow you to buy certain type of cards, right? Enablers can take the form of multiple things, and the easiest of which to see enablers are the enablers that are cards. Enablers that are cards are like for the Fremen are like Shishaki and Stilgar. And the reason these two cards are really good is that when you buy them and you have other Fremen cards in your deck, your game plan becomes really simple. Let's say for Stilgar, it's a lot like Liat Kynes in the base game, right? When you buy it, you want more Fremen cards because when you reveal Stilgar, you can get like a lot of persuasion. But Stilgar by himself is a lot stronger than Liat Kynes because you're able to put in 2 troops into combat, and 2 troops into combat is really big. 4 combat strength early, or to be able to store two troops is a really big thing. And furthermore, you can go to the Fremen space to do this, right? So you do this early on in the game, you get combat rewards, you get matches, and then late in the game, you buy spice and flows to close out the game. Whereas Shishaki, right? Just by her on play is really strong, right? You are able to trash cards and draw cards, and this coupled with the fact that desert tactics allow you to trash very cheaply, right? And you kind of cycle your deck very quickly. You're able actually to thin down your deck very quickly to see Shishaki almost every single round, right? You can thin down your deck quickly. You have some other Fremen cards, and then in the later rounds, you are always getting Fremen influence, and then you are able to either get the Fremen alliance or pressure the Fremen alliance really very easily and very cheaply, right? So Shishaki and Stilgar, both very good cards, and once you have them, you can buy other Fremen cards. There are some enablers that are also cards that are not as powerful. So cards like Northern Watermaster, Ecological Test Station, and Unsolving Loyalty, as you can see here. Right, so these cards are not as powerful as Shishaki and Stilgar, but I still think that the payoff for these cards push you in a direction that wants you to buy more Fremen cards. Just by having like Spice on reveal or Water on reveal, right, it's really very good. Or even this one troop they can pull in and out. Alright, all of them are very powerful effects. And once you have like some of these payoffs, you can start to look for more Fremen cards. So, are cards the only enablers for the Fremen deck? And I'll tell you the answer to that is no. If you get Maker Hooks from Cheesable, and you plan to send in Sandworms into battle, you probably do want to pick up multiple Fremen cards. And why is that so? Okay, so I'm just gonna make you imagine this situation. Okay, you have Maker Hooks, and now you are buying, let's say, some prepared aways because persuasion is good, right? In this case, the next round comes in. You go to siege. You go to Haga Basin. You put in a Sandworm and 2 troops. You trashed out one of your daggers earlier in the game, and you have one more dagger in your deck. You probably don't have any intrigues because you haven't went to any intrigue space yet, right? And so you have over the table 8 combat strength. There are a few ways which players can fight you at when you send worms. The easiest of way is to block Haga, but if Haga has no spice built up, actually it's a very bad action. So the easier way is just to go to places like Research Station or Arakeen and just push you out of the combat just physically, right? So they just need to beat 7 or 8. And that's very doable with Research Station. So other players will come and fight you this way. So first of which, you don't have a hold over combat, and after this combat you get rewards. If the rewards is not water, the following round you're not able to put in Sandworms again, right? Because now you have to go to Siege Harbor again, and then you go to get worms into battle. Right, you spend 2 actions to get Sandworms into battle, and then still players are able to challenge you because there are other spaces on the board to challenge you at, right? But what happens is that if a lot of Fremen cards actually like reveal for water and reveal for swords, right? So these are the 2 things that you kind of need in a Fremen deck, right? When you have Maker Hooks, what you want to do is you want to be able to freely go just put in Sandworms into combat, and kind of like snowball your rewards there. If you're able to free up your second action to not have to go to Siege Harbor, right, you can start to get faction influence that will lead you to win the game, or work on your Solari that allows you to get Swordmaster, right? It frees up a lot of your other actions, right? So you might think that revealing for 1 water is bad, but revealing for 1 water when you have like Maker Hooks to get Sandworm access, yeah, it's really good, right? So understand that there are some scenarios that require certain type of cards. So let's say if you want to put in Sandworms in the battle, you should find a way to get certain type of resources, and a lot of the resources are from Fremen cards, right? And the Fremen cards work very well in a Sandworm deck. It makes sense, right? Fremen Sandworms, right? But very often I see players like just buy prepared aways and play very passively in that manner. So do note, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to do, and how do the cards assist you in that? Okay, so we talked about 2 types of enablers: cards that have good payoffs, and we also talked about scenarios. And that scenarios is Maker Hooks. So we're done with Fremen. Let's talk about the Emperor. Okay, but before that, there's an Emperor card that I put in this list as well, which is the Beast Spoils. Alright, Beast Spoils, you might think that it doesn't belong in a Fremen deck because Fremen decks are all Fremen cards, but actually in this type of deck where you are trying to put in Sandworms in the battle, like additional swords are really good, right? So the other card in the game that has like 3 swords is like Beast Spoils, so Beast Spoils goes really well in this deck. But at the same point of time, you can also look at cards that have daggers and cards that kind of fit into this team that you want to win this combat, right? And just slot them in as well. So what about Emperor Enablers? And the Emperor Enablers for the cards I've selected too: Calculus of Power and Sadaga Coordination. Okay, both of them feed off like having other Emperor cards in play. And I think out of 2 of them, I like Calculus of Power a lot more. And the reason that is that Calculus Powers allows you to trash, and when you trash down your deck, right, into a smaller, more concise deck, it makes your coordination and your other Emperor cards a lot stronger. When you don't have Calculus and you just have coordination, it's very hard to combo off coordination to have very big Emperor reveals. You kind of do need calculus, but both of them are quite good enablers in terms of the Emperor deck, right? So you buy these two cards, and then you can consider buying the other Emperor cards. Okay. So I think I'm missing a 2 persuasion Emperor card, the one that allows you to recall when you recall a spy, you get an intrigue, right? But all these cards are very good in this Emperor deck, right? They all lead to very powerful like late game turns. So let's say you're round 7, round 8, right? You can reveal for like 10 swords very easily. You have like let's say 2, maybe a calculus, coordination, and then calculus trashes for 3. You reveal like, let's say, another 2 Emperor cards. Calculus is like, coordination is like 4 swords, there's 7 swords already, right? And then let's say one of the swords you reveal was like Spy Network, gives you another sword, and then there are just a lot of there's a lot of value there and a lot of combat strength that you can get by building this type of Emperor deck, right? And if you look at the Emperor cards, right, the key enablers. Oh, I'm missing the 5 costed one that allows you to reveal for intrigue and trash for like a power play as well. Okay, but all these cards are really good. The key thing I want you to note, right, is that for the Emperor cards, actually the enablers are all 2 persuasion cards, right? And there are other Emperor cards that also give 2 persuasion. So actually in the Emperor deck, right, what you are looking for, right, actually is also Prepare the Ways. Prepare the Ways actually function very well in the Emperor deck because a lot of the effects are on reveal. So even if you play the Prepare the Ways and you kind of draw like multiple cards, you kind of draw into your combo as well. Or you can use the Prepare the Ways to just buy your Spiceman's Flows. So in the Emperor deck, if you have these payoffs, you can start to buy all the other Emperor cards as well as Prepare the Ways, right? And then suddenly you have a very powerful, very streamlined deck, and you're very able to win late combats because you're able to put in so much strength into that one big combat. Okay, and it's very, like it's hard to spot, right? Because you have to like draw, and you know it when it's coming on reveal. So Emperor deck really good. So I talked about 2 decks, right? So 2 decks, I talked about the Fremen deck, I talked about the Fremen deck. The Fremen deck and the Emperor deck. So, do you just buy all the cards of the same tag, right? So once you buy one card that is like an enabler, like once you buy one powerful like A tier card, or do you just buy the rest of the same tag? Is that all you focus on? And I will tell you that actually, yes, a big part of strategy in Uprising is to identify the enablers, right? Identify what cards make certain strategies work, right? And buying them, and early revealing for them and buying them is really important. Okay, this can be S tier cards, A tier cards, or some key enablers, right? So buying these cards are really important and allows you to win the game. But there are also situations. I talked about one of the situations just now, and that was Maker Hooks. Right? When you have Maker Hooks and you can put in Sandworms, suddenly like certain cards become very good to you, right? Even though previously they were just like average. Now like cards that reveal for water when you have hooks are very good. So what are the other conditions? So it can be like spies, like having access to generate spies or spies on faction spaces. That leads to some cards being good, like in the case of spies on faction, like a lot of cards that have like spy access, suddenly become a lot better. Or then you have like Swordmaster. When you have Swordmaster, you can pick up certain type of cards as well. Whereas if you don't have Swordmaster, then suddenly if you buy too many cards that are on play, you'll find yourself very stuck. Then there's some intrigues that will shape your gameplay, or some leaders as well that will shape your gameplay. So a lot of it is conditional, right? And yes, there are key cards that make you build that type of deck, but also there are conditions that allow you to buy certain type of cards. Okay, so where do we go from here? So I want you to leave a comment and talk about either specific cards that you want me to talk about and what home do they belong in, like what type of deck do they belong in. Or I've listed out some of them here, like Spies Matter, Spies on Factions, Benny, Spacing, Contracts, Spies on Flows, or Leader Specific, right? You can just list and say that, hey, I want you to talk about this, and then I will come to them right? And I think by talking about it, I'll also be able to share with you some of the strategies that goes into Uprising and how you should plan accordingly. So do write in your comments which card you want me to talk about. I hope this video was interesting. I do really feel that all cards are good in Uprising. Almost all. Like maybe one I'll like close one eye. Like maybe Hidden Missive is like average, but all other cards I'll gladly pick up in some situations. And I think that Paul Dennen has showed us this. Like when we played with him in person, right? He'll play certain leaders and he'll just buy a lot of cards that we thought were just bad, and he'll win with them. He wins very often and very consistently. And so he has shown us that there are a lot of cards that work. You just need to figure out how do they work and in what situations do they work. So be open-minded about cards. Find out what cards work, experiment, have fun. But if you want me to talk about specific cards, do leave a comment. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.